Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and hello and welcome back to Beyond This. It's always an interesting journey in getting back your feedback in terms of what you want to hear more of, what we're able to talk about, and the discussions we're having. And we truly appreciate getting you as involved as you are. It's been a wonderful journey this far. So, in a prelude to the guests that we have coming on and the topics of discussion, one of the things that we have to discuss is pain. Because I think at this age, there isn't any single person, regardless of what our social media tells you, regardless of what the filters look like, regardless of people walking around, there isn't a single person that isn't walking around that hasn't experienced pain, loss, just debilitating pain that makes it so difficult sometimes to even just get up and to function. And we often say to people that, sometimes even just waking up in the morning, just getting up is enough. When you go through loss, you understand that it's a physical pain. It's something that hits you so deeply that it almost makes you wonder, is there a purpose? Is there a reason why I need to even wake up in the morning? And this is when we have to hold on to the anchors that we have. So whatever your anchors are called, for me, it's faith. For whatever it is that you have to find that one anchor that keeps you grounded, that makes you realize that there's hope, that there's a reason why you need to wake up every single day, why we have to do what we need to do. Because without that anchor, it's so easy to get lost into the system. And it's so easy to have a sense of complete abandonment, of feeling alone, of feeling like there's nothing for you. There's no purpose in getting up. There's no purpose in breathing. So take the time to find that anchor that makes you understand that there's a reason you're still here. There's a reason why you're still breathing. There's a reason why you still have to do what you need to do, because your purpose is not complete yet. You still need to live your purpose. The reason you're here, there's a reason why you need to be here still. There's a reason why you still need to be around people, why you have to be impacting people. You still have to live your purpose. It brings me into something that, it takes so little to be kind to others. We have no idea what any single person is going through. If people had to walk around and we had a visual of what their pain looked like, what they experienced from their childhood days to their teen years, their relationships with their parents, with their siblings, with significant others, with their own children, as time progressed, what they ended up losing, what they ended up having to go through, the fear that they went through, violations that they went through. If we had to see that as people walked by, we'd have a different approach to the way we actually spoke to people. We would treat people very, very differently. All we do is we see images and we treat people based on the images that we see. It's so important to just let go of those images and trust that everyone needs some kindness. And you have no idea what a difference you're making to that one person who probably needs it the most on that particular day. I remember when I was going through a few losses, and actually quite a significant loss. I remember it isn't the big days. It isn't the days that you prep for. It's the days that are the most normal and the most routine when that loss really hits you. And I kept thinking, how has the world not stopped when my entire world has stopped? How has everything just continued so normally when every single thing looks so different for me? And I remember someone saying to me, the world owes you nothing. And it was really the most painful thing to hear. Because at that point, I thought, actually, the world does owe me because I'm in this immense amount of pain. And everything has been taken away from me. I can't even see the world the same. And you'll notice that with people who have lost significant people in their lives, everything looks different. They see the whole world differently. But in a way, I was so glad that that was said to me, because it made me realize that when you go through loss, you're the only person that feels the magnitude of that loss, of how huge that loss is for you. People's lives carry on. And it's not always a bad thing, but you need to be able to move forward. But this is when the kindness that people show around you makes such a difference. And you will always remember that. The pain that people go through is not always visible. It's not always associated with the loss where we get to share in the morning. sometimes people struggle internally to such an extent that they don't even know how to ask for help, that they don't know how to reach anyone because everything seems so overwhelming for them. And it's a drowning within yourself. And this is when the kindness, it costs nothing. It takes absolutely nothing away from us to be able to do that. But we seem to be having a culture of, I need to show them. People need to fit into boxes for us to know how to treat them. We need to know who they are, where they live, what their family names are. And then it defines, oh, okay, now I know how to treat that person. Take all that away. Take every single one of those things away and just show kindness. The world really needs far more of that. Yes, things happen to people, but I promise you it's not all good happening to one person, and it's really not all bad happening to one person. You'll often hear people saying, everything goes wrong for me. Nothing ever works out for me. Everything that could go wrong happens to me. No, it actually doesn't. And that's the truth. Good and bad happens to every single person, but it's how you choose to respond to it, how you choose to see it, how you choose to learn from it, and how you choose to move forward from it. That's what matters. That's what counts. Because if you are focused only on every single thing bad and every single thing negative that's happening in your life, the simple thing is that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to remember. Because if you talk about this went wrong, this went wrong, this went wrong, by the end of the day, that's all you remember is how many things went wrong. But if this went wrong and this went wrong, but in between that, a whole lot of good things happened, or you recognize even the blessings in the little bits of good things that are happening, you start focusing on that. And you start creating an attitude and a mindset of abundance, of gratitude, of noticing good things that are happening. And then people say, oh, you bring good things. The truth of it is, there's always good things around us. But if you recognize it, you just see more of it because it's already there. It's already been given to you. It's already been gifted to you. You're just not seeing it. Here's an analogy. Today, when you go out, decide to look for yellow cars, something you wouldn't have noticed before. But today when you're out there, you'll notice yellow or red or any other particular car. And all of a sudden, you start seeing more of them on the road. Same thing is if you are talking about a simple idea. All of a sudden, you start seeing it everywhere. You start noticing everywhere. It's not because it's just come into place. It's been there, but you just don't notice it. So in the same way with our pain, with our level of abundance, with things that have been given to us, if you are only focused on the pain, you are only going to see the pain. You're going to feel like it's overwhelming you. You're going to feel it all around you. I'm not discounting that there isn't pain. There absolutely is. I've been there. I've walked that journey as well. And we will be having the right guests in our studio to talk to us about how to navigate through that. But right now, we're going to talk about how do we look at the abundance? How do we focus on positive things? How do we start looking at, somebody said to me, but there isn't anything positive, but there is. If you look at a simple thing of being able to breathe, don't take for granted your limbs, being able to use them, being able to do things functionally. As we get older, our bodies has its own way of responding. We talk about the 40s being the liberating years. Yeah, 41 in your body tells you a completely different story entirely. So it's about being grateful for every single thing you have, because I promise you those moments are there. And when you focus on those positive things around you, you'll start seeing it in abundance. And you have to do that, because if we don't, and we don't deal with our pain, and we don't deal with the trauma that we have, and we don't deal with anything, and we decide, okay, we're just carrying this through with our lives, this is when we start having generational trauma or causing generational trauma. So like I said, I've said this in so many episodes before as well, that every single person has got difficulties. Everyone has gone through something. And for some reason at this age in our lives, these things start triggering all over again. And you wonder, but they didn't trouble me before. Why is it all of a sudden becoming an issue? Things people said, how they treated you, all of a sudden starts triggering at this point. And you can decide to leave it. And you can decide to keep that bitterness in you because it's affecting no one else but you. But the problem is, if you don't do something, it does have ripple effects. It does have consequences. It does bring around the wrong energy when you walk into an environment. Be aware of this. Be alert to that. One of the words that gets thrown around like crazy is toxic. Everybody's toxic. Everyone else is the toxic person, the toxic personality, the toxic partner, the toxic in-law, the toxic daughter-in-law. Everybody's toxic. But the truth of it is we need to look inside first, because our journey is not about fixing other people. It's about fixing ourselves. So when we realize that there's toxicity within each of us, every single one of us walking around has got toxicity. When you recognize that toxicity, that's one part of awakening and awareness. But now what happens next? Do you just leave it? Do you continue with your life and let that toxicity feed and eat away at you and cause generational trauma and hurt other people around you? And we just carry it on and on because this is all we know? Or do we recognize it and start acknowledging that we know better? Because once we know better, we have to do better. So when we recognize that toxicity within us, we take a responsibility to want to fix it. And when you start fixing it, then comes a huge, huge responsibility of digging deep. A huge responsibility of fixing. Because fixing is not overnight. It's not a magic wand that just gets waved around and now you're better because you recognize what's toxic in you. So now you're a better person. You're a better human being and good for you. Well done. And now you can recognize it in other people. No, that's not the magic wand you need. Everyone's got their journey to walk. Focus less on them. Focus more internally. Because when we talk about lowering the gaze, I think it's also lowering the gaze to other people's problems, other people's difficulties, other people's negative things that are shining so brightly for you right now. Lower it and look internally. So what are we doing about it? How are we fixing it? How are we recognizing it? Because when you want to do the work comes with a lot more than the magic wand. It comes with being aware. It comes with acknowledging the things that you've been through. It comes with acknowledging what your role in that could have also been. It comes with acknowledging that other people around you are also just as human as you are and are also just walking a journey, trying to figure this out. Our parents didn't know how to do it. It didn't come with a manual. We definitely don't know how to do it. It doesn't come with a manual for us either. But for the first time, we at this part of our journey, at the first time we walking this part, for the first time our parents are walking this part of their journey. But it's about what do we do right now? How do we fix it? How do we acknowledge it? How do we notice what our parts are? How could we have tried to do it different? Now we can't go back to change it, but how do we change it now? How do we speak to others? What are the words that we're using? Are we actually conscious of the words that we're using? Are we passing that over into something stronger? Because we've read this for years, that when you say something, it becomes a mindset, and when it becomes a mindset, it becomes a habit. But how often are we actually conscious of what we say? When somebody asks you, how's things going? Think about how often you'll say Alhamdulillah, or it's going well, or fantastic. Alhamdulillah, things are fantastic. It's going great, or Allah's merciful, or make dua. Things are really bad. Things are just not looking good. So the more you're conscious of the words you're using, the more it's going to impact on how you see things around you. So you have to be aware of how you even answer something like, how's it? Or how are you? So when we're talking about this generational trauma, you need to understand that all you are responsible for is yourself. What you're taking with you, how you impacting people around you, how you are actually going to be passing on good memories, a legacy, or passing on pain. And that is what you're answerable for. If you had to close your eyes today, how would people remember you? Would they remember you as someone who just was nasty, always had a negative comment, always had something to say about someone else, caused pain for everyone because you needed to have the last say, because you needed to have the last word, because you wanted your point made, because people needed to see who you were, to see how much pain you went through? Let it go. It's really not worth it. Allah sees, Allah will balance it, Allah hears you. Trust in that. Everything else, let it go. If they haven't seen it till now, they're not going to see it. No amount of you mentioning it, bringing it up, constantly reiterating is going to make anyone see it. You acknowledge it. You hear it. Allah sees it. Allah hears it. Allah hears you. He sees your tears. Now it's time to let it go. Start creating a legacy that people will be able to look back and remember you fondly on. Where people will remember you in their prayers, where people will remember you. And it's not huge things. I keep saying this to people. Don't worry about the big things about, oh, I have to do something big in life to be remembered. No, you don't. Because the people who are going to remember you in their prayers are the ones who remembered when you picked up the phone, when you checked in on them, when you were kind to them, when you saw them passing by, realizing that they were going through a tough time, send them a message later, drop something off to help them out, where you showed kindness to people, where your whole family inside remembers you the same way the people outside remember you, with kindness, with love, with a softness. That's what they need to remember you with. This is how you get to change it. But that digging deep takes time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. Don't say, I've started being a nicer person, but nobody else around me has changed. Nobody else is doing anything differently. You got to push through, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. And when you push and when you keep doing this, all of a sudden, your circle will start changing. But don't see it as, oh, people are no longer my friends. See it as a way of cleaning up the energies that you no longer need. Because the good energies that you need, that help you on the healing process, that keep you going forward, those right energies will come. If you keep putting that out there, the right people will come to you. When you keep praying for good friendships for this world and the next, the right people will come to you. So be okay to let go. Be okay to let go of the things and the people, the situations, anything that no longer serves you. Anything that's no longer allowing you the growth. Anything that's keeping you stuck in your pain, that wants to keep you there in that box because nobody wants to see you grow out of it. For whatever self-serving purpose staying in that box serves, it's time to let it go. We don't need to be the victims. We don't need people's sympathy. Empathy, yes, but we need to be able to rise above it. We need to be able to grow. We need to be able to be free. We need to be able to let go and let God. We can't control everything. Let it go. Whatever it is, it will be, and trust that it will be the best for you. So with this, it's just a reminder that all we need to do is consistently show that kindness. Because I promise you, it'll be shown back to you at a time when you need it the most. Not necessarily from the same people that you're showing it to, but Allah will always put somebody there. The right people will always be there. And if you open your eyes to see it, and you open your eyes to see the blessings, and you open your eyes to see the small things that are happening around you, trust me, you'll start living with that abundance. And you'll be going to bed every single day showing and saying more of gratitude, being so much more thankful for everything that is there. Because the one thing we can be thankful for is that there are so many things that could go wrong, and they're not. So even if you want to start there, start with that. I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay tuned.